remember applying to work at Foxtons, UK. I remember going through the interview process. Was like, guys, I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna get into property one way or another. We used to go for an all-white party at Rhapsodies. One guy I love on Instagram, his videos are hilarious. It's that Marcus. I'm gonna post a video of it. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This video today is a little bit different. Today I'm talking a bit more of a story time, how I got into property in Ghana. So if you haven't done so far already and you're interested in learning more about my property journey, then make sure you've hit on the subscribe button. Make sure you hit on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on my future videos. And if in this video you find it useful, you enjoy the story time, please do hit on the thumbs up and give this video a thumbs up and drop me something in the comments. Let me know maybe, what kind of resonates with you or any questions you have based on my journey. And yeah, I hope that might help somebody or might give you a bit more of an idea in terms of why I do what I do. But yeah, let's get into it. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the story time. How did I get into property in Ghana? So for those of you that don't know, I am British born Ghanaian, right? And I have always just been fascinated about Ghana. So born in the UK, but I didn't start going to Ghana until about 2012 or 2013. These are the days, I'm showing my age now. But these are the days, if anybody knows about Ghana back then and you were traveling to Ghana for Christmas and Easter, we used to go for an all-white party at Rhapsodies. If you know what Rhapsodies is, drop it in the comments. If not, I'm not going to tell you anymore. Google it. Rhapsodies, Accra Mall, Ghana. That's showing my age, but it shows that I've been going to Ghana for a long time. So I used to go to Ghana with my mum. We're from Abri. And I used to go, especially around the 6 weeks holidays. My mum would used to always take us to Ghana for holiday. And I remember when we used to go to, she'll put us in a school over the 6 weeks holiday, and that's where I actually learned the alphabet, the tree alphabet. So like a, b, d, e, f, g, I. I still remember that from childhood. And you'll go as a child and you'll stay. I remember staying in my grandma's house, and my grandma, God rest her soul, the house that she was staying at, this is years ago, but it didn't have a flushing toilet. It was I don't know if anybody can, I think it was called, not Suckaway, but if you can put in the comments what those basically open toilets were. So it wasn't in the house, it was in the compound. So you have to literally go, and this is back in the day. Well, not so back in the day that, yeah, we're talking about in the 2000s, right? But it's the fact that it was like a shed. You open it and it's just basically a hole in the ground. It stunk like crazy. And I remember thinking to myself, this can't be it. Like surely this isn't how somebody should live, you know? And I just remember from that time. And then after a while, my mum built her own house, and you know how Ghanaian parents build their houses like huge. But eventually you don't really want to stay with your parents. So you end up like and then my mum, obviously, we were in Abri, we were in like outside of Accra, but I always would love to be in Accra. And Abri isn't so far out of Accra, it's in Accra, right? And I remember I used to go to Ghana. I didn't want to go anymore with my parents, so I used to start going with my friends. So around 2012, 2013, when I started going to Ghana with my friends, and we would stay at one of my friends, Esther. She had her mum's house was in, I think it was in Tantra Hill or McCarthy Hill. My friend Wendy, her mom's house was in, like, it might be the other way around, McCarthy Hill or Tantra Hill. One of them was in McCarthy, one of them was in Tantra Hill. I was saying their parents' houses, they were in Accra. You just look at their houses in Accra and be like, these are so different to the houses in the Brie. Like, I love them. And so yeah, I used to stay at my friends' houses, and eventually then I stayed around 2015 when I was going to Ghana very often. I then stayed at my uncle's house in East Legon. So then became very familiar with the East Legon area, and every time I'm going to Ghana, that's where I'll stay. So I would go to Ghana at least twice a year, at the very least. And then it became more frequent around 2017 or so. That's when 2016 is when I bought my first property in Ghana. That was built property. I actually started buying land. My mum encouraged me to buy land very early on. So I purchased land around 2012, I believe it was. I bought land in 2012. And when I bought land then in Accra, it was around £3,000. But that land did not get registered until 2 years ago or last year. I try to remember. It went through and oh my gosh, it was such a long process. The chief that was purchased from then handed over his chieftaincy, then another chief died, and it just became a long process. I'm so glad that the lands even stayed in my name. I was like surprised, but it became like paying this. It's like you almost end up having to pay for the land again because the amount of hands it actually passed through. I'll probably do a whole nother video about land and the headache with getting land in Ghana. It's one of the things that I don't want to say I avoid doing that as a service, but it's one of the things that I don't kind of like discourage people from getting land, but it's one of the things that you have to have a lot of patience and there's a lot of due diligence you need to go through when it comes to buying land in Ghana. So I'll probably end up doing a whole other video on that one. But just generally, my mum was, I saw how much my mum was going through building her house in the Brie area. And, typically our parents were of the generation where they'll be sending money back every single month, and they have an uncle that is they're relying on to actually build the property. So I remember, I might insert it actually. There's one guy I love on Instagram. His videos are hilarious. It's that Marcus. I'm going to post a video of it.
Messi ni no on timi nya aduma na won die. Messi want timi nya aduma na won die till don't die. Why is 496? Maximum of Akofa be we are YS no. Motuo, you don't do anything. Musala, Mudia, no man black. You don't play what I say. I want to tell me why is that cano? Move on good no. Now I'm rocking. Bye bye.
This video right here just is basically exactly what would happen when your parents are sending money back to Ghana. It is like exactly like this. And so I used to see my mom sending, she worked so hard to put food on the table, but also she worked hard to build her house in Ghana, a place where she can stay. The joke is that she doesn't hardly stay there. Like this mad. But anyway, you see, our parents always want to have something in Ghana. And that for me was really inspiring. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I saw how hard she worked to actually build her house. But she also encouraged me to get land. And after I got my land, I then started to see the benefits and seeing how fast Ghana was growing when it comes to the built landscape and the built environment, and seeing how many properties were coming up. And so one of the things I remember writing on my Facebook page ages ago is that I felt like, and I wish I actually went onto my Facebook the other day to see if it's still there, because I wish I can get an audit of the times I've changed my description. But I categorically remember the times I put in my description that I desire to be a catalyst for change in Ghana and development in Ghana. And this was back in probably like 2010 or 2011. Like it was so long ago that I had this burning desire, not knowing how I'll do that. And I remember joining my friend Arnold's organization called Future of Ghana, and I'll speak at some of his events, even play events like Guba. I was nominated. I won a Guba award back in 2012, and these things really encouraged me to really connect with my roots. But it wasn't until 2016 around then, when I actually attended a property expo event, because I was so interested in what was happening in Ghana, that I went to this property expo event and I started seeing developers. I started connecting with developers, and every time I would go to Ghana, I would speak to developers, and I would actually just find out more about the property environment. And I ended up purchasing the property. So what I did is I actually remortgaged my property in the UK, and I took out equity, and I went to use that to put that as a down payment in Ghana. And so I did that, and to buy a property that I'd seen from a developer who had a track record of, I think at that time, one main development. And so I purchased that property, and it was already built. The property was an already built property, so it wasn't off plan. I think it was like their last one or two remaining units that they had available. And I remember purchasing it. At the time, it was about $120,000 or so. And I purchased that property. And I remember I was just super excited. It was just such a like it was just so amazing to own my own property. But then the challenges started. Like so much happened. And I realized to myself, how did I miss all these things? And I'll post a link, but there is a link to a video series of all the challenges I faced when I purchased my first property in Ghana. And for me, it just taught me a huge lesson. The passion is there, but one thing about what I did is I purchased the property and I didn't tell anybody. Only my mum knew about it. And so I didn't get support. I didn't get a lawyer. I just went to I just went to the property developer. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot during this period, especially of getting tenants in, making sure you do your due diligence, the kind of things and fixtures you need to look out for, even how the roads are, the road environment outside of the property. So much that I learned. And I just felt to myself, this, like, people can't make the same. I mean, I'm not the smartest in the world, but I'm also not the stupidest person, right? I mean, I've got an executive MBA from the University of Oxford. I have a first class degree. I have like intellectually, the fact that I even missed the fact that I should have got a lawyer just made me even question my own abilities. And so I was like, I can't be the only one that might go through this challenge. So I think the excitement of owning property in Ghana made me forget some critical steps. And so I learned my lesson with that first property and I started investing again and things started to make sense. One of the properties that I had, I actually got it on a diaspora mortgage, but I realized the rental income that I was getting wasn't enough to pay off the mortgage every single month. So I ended up supplementing it with my own salary. So meaning that I was even paying for somebody to live in the property. So again, these are lessons that I started to learn. And this is the reason why I felt burdened to make sure that other people don't go through the same thing that I've gone through. And so I started buying more and more properties in Ghana, and they started to work. I started to use the lessons that I learned from my first couple of properties to actually start to invest in others. And they then made more sense, because I had made all those lessons. So the point being that I really got into this space because I didn't want other people to make those mistakes. But just to prove to you how long I've been doing this for, I'll insert a picture. I held an event pre-COVID with a property developer in the UK because I was so excited about property. I purchased by then my first property and held an event. I partnered with a private members club in the UK and opened it up to my network and encouraged people that anybody who wants to find out about buying property in Ghana, come to this event. So I held that event, I think it was 2018, that event could have been. And then I held another event in Croydon again. I held that one. So the first one I did was in central London. The next one I did was in Croydon. I did another event in Ghana with Stanbic Bank as well at Stanbic Heights, where it was like almost like a property tour. So people would come and then they'll hop onto a bus and we'll take them around to see other properties. So we did a whole session about the importance of investing in Ghana, how to get a diaspora mortgage. We did a whole panel, all of that. And then after, people then depending on where they wanted to go, they will go on the bus and they'll go to different properties and go and see it. So I ran those kind of events, So I've been doing this for a while and just seeing how much interest has increased over the last 5-6 years alone. When 2025, so I've been running these events 7 years. I've been doing these, and it's just been so encouraging, especially working with a lot of diasporans who are looking to purchase property in Ghana. It's been so encouraging. And the best thing for me has been when I've supported people buy their property in Ghana and they start making residual income. It's the reason why I've been doing what I do, all about educating the diaspora in terms of how they can purchase property, using my own personal experience. I'm not a financial advisor. I'll be very transparent about that. But what I do is I use my own experience. And I think experience is the best teacher out there. So using my own experience to actually educate the diaspora about how they can purchase a property, but also how they can use a diaspora mortgage. So I am now an agent to a number of different developers in Ghana. I'm an agent to a number of banks as well and a broker to all of them as well. So anybody that is looking to purchase property in Ghana, that is the work that I do. I consult, I help people find properties, I handhold you through the entire process. I connect you with lawyers now, valuers, surveyors, and everything in between, house inspectors. If you go and watch some of my other videos, you'll see videos that I've mentioned about the things that you need to have in place when purchasing property in Ghana. This is all from personal experiences, money that I have lost so that you don't have to. So yeah, so over the last couple of years, I've helped diasporans across the world to purchase property. over 2 million in property purchases that I've seen in the last 2 years. I have seen people generate income exceeding that. It's just been um, this is through my clients and people that I've worked with. So it's just incredible to see the opportunity that exists in Ghana when people are either buying or selling their properties. People have sold their properties through me, and that contributes to the revenue that I've seen as well through the people that I've helped to transact through property. But it's just been an amazing journey. One thing I didn't tell, one thing came to mind the other day. Two things, which just remind me about my life. It's like a full circle moment. But I remember when I just left university, I had got a job offer to work at a management consultancy company. And I think this was post the financial crisis or some point at that point. I remember getting a acceptance to work for a management consultancy company, but for one reason or another, we couldn't start that same year that we had received the acceptance. And so what I had to do was to find another job during that period of time. And I applied to work at Foxtons, UK, the property management company, the estate agent company in the UK. I went through their interview process, their interview rounds. I got to round three, excited that I'm going to now have a car and I'm going to be going around showing people property in the UK and London. And I didn't get the job. Was like, guys, I'm going to show you that I'm going to get into property one way or another. But Foxtons are probably one of the largest estate agents in the UK, and I was so gutted that I didn't get this job. But I ended up working for a smaller estate agent as well called David Gibbs. David Gibbs. I'll probably find it somewhere if it's still around. But they were the first estate agents that I ever worked for. So I worked for them, and I've been in the property game. That's the thing. So after I worked for them, I went back to management consulting, then I went into investment banking, then I went into tech. So the journey kind of veered off, and now I've come back full circle to support my community, the diaspora. So that is my story. I hope you learned something new. But the platform that I've built is called Diaspora to Home. And that's exactly what I'm all about. I'm about encouraging the diaspora to have a home in Ghana. So, yeah, if you have any questions or want to learn more about my journey and my story, feel free to drop any questions in the comment section and I'll get to those. Or if you have any other ideas for more video content that you guys want, anything you want to find out more about in the real estate market, please do also drop those in the comment section and I will get to it very, very soon. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so far already throughout this video, which I hope you should have done, please do hit on the subscribe button. If you enjoyed watching this video and finding out more about me as well, please do hit that thumbs up and like this video. And also hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my future videos. And yeah, I will hopefully see you in my next video. Bye.